Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sophia. Sophia works with Destinations. She is the person that's been doing the majority of the work and making the decisions of where to go, what to do, who to speak to with regard to social inclusion. It's a huge subject within the tourism and travel industry. So, good afternoon, Sophia.
Good afternoon, Graham.
Tell me, what you sound a very stupid question when I've just given you that big up about social inclusion, but any specifics that you've been working on, any tools over the last couple of years?
Absolutely. So recently, this past year, we have shifted the terminology that we use from equity, diversity, inclusion to social inclusion. It was not a shift that was done overnight. It involved, I'd say, a year's worth of conversation, of discussion about just what inclusion means and the direction of what inclusion should be for the travel industry. So we've had a variety of conversations, like I mentioned, with our members around the world about the importance of inclusion, how to be able to meet them where they're at, regardless of the size of their budgets, the geographies. And in conversations, also taking into account the politics of the world and the importance of inclusion, along with the importance on how our destinations should navigate inclusion. We shifted our terminology again from equity, diversity, inclusion to social inclusion. And what that is, it's a framework that has about 16, no, I'd say almost 16, 13 actually, different topics that our destination organizations find critical. Accessibility, board diversity, destination stewardship, crime and safety, workforce diversification as some examples. And what this framework does is ties inclusion to those topics that our destinations find critical. And by way of understanding how inclusion is integral to the growth and success of these different topics, what we're saying is that communities will have greater vitality and will build economic trust, actually community trust, I should say, and greater economic development. So we're really trying to create a holistic model that ties in inclusion with the work that destinations organizations do around the world.
I've been discussing it with some of your colleagues, but some social inclusion must be difficult to detect and to advise on. For example, probably advise on racial inclusion, maybe handicap physical inclusion, but to detect background, income, living on the wrong side of the tracks, religious, all of those need to be taken account of, obviously.
Absolutely, they do. And it starts with conversations. And what we aim to do is to bring up these topics as conversation starters to really help our destinations think about topics that are critical for them. And then we delve deeper to say, okay, what are we doing about this now? What can we help support you to do in the future? What kind of conversations need to happen so we can actually make progress?
And you spoke earlier about global political situation, how you adapt to those circumstances. Does that put even more emphasis on social inclusion? We obviously, currently, we have major disputes going on in the world that would be determined, they've been started almost because of social.
Absolutely.
That's from the outside, that's what it appeared to be anyway. Does that put greater emphasis on it for you?
It does. And what we want to focus in on is the humanization of this work. I think sometimes we can get so caught up in terminology and in theories and in thought, but sometimes we forget that at the end of the day, it's human beings that are affected by this. And so what we're trying to do is to put that human lens back into social inclusion, to build connections and to help create environment and discussions that focus in on the welcoming and belonging piece.
And these tools, and I've mentioned disputes going on all around the world as far as social exclusion is concerned.
Right.
The tools and the research and the advice you're giving, it's just designed to be universal, across the globe to any destination that's working in this field.
Absolutely. Our framework is designed to be a global tool, and they're conversation starters on a global level. So before shifting our messaging from EDI to social inclusion, we actually did work with our European members. We worked with our Asian members. as well as some of our Latin American members, to really talk about these topics to see if they're relevant and if they resonate for them. And so we actually built this framework on a global model, and we've also aligned them with this UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Final question. Have you ever faced any resistance to these questions, these policy suggestions you make, the tools that you develop? Has anybody ever resisted those, or have you had universal acceptance?
There's been resistance. I think sometimes when change happens, there's always either there's resistance or there may not be an understanding of the why. And when we made that shift, we had some resistance. But what we've been doing is having more discussion about the why. And we really focused in on the importance of what we're doing and why it matters. So the education and the awareness piece has been something we've been working on. And those that were a little maybe late to adopt or understand why have actually been adopting it. I've been getting some good feedback.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck in what's not only an important subject, it's an essential subject to resolve, I think.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.